Hi, I'm Shane, and this is Mike, and we're with Athearn Trains. We're here at K10's Model Trains just outside St. Louis, Missouri, in Maryville, Illinois, to share with our fans an all-new Athearn Genesis locomotive. Mike, tell us about the new GP50.
Yeah, again, what we're talking about today is a GP50. This is based on our Genesis GP38-2, and this would be the next step in the process.
So being a GP50, of course, it's going to have some different features than a 38-2, a little bit longer hood and a couple of phases. Tell us about all of those features.
Yeah, we're offering both the Phase 1 and the Phase 2 GP50. Some of the spotting features between the two 50s is going to be things like the blower housing. The Phase 1 GP50 has the standard Dash 2 style blower housing. The Phase 2 GP50 has the angle blower housing. That also then affects the long rails on the fireman's side, which then changes depending on the blower housing. Other features that differentiate the two, the side sill. The Phase 1 GP50 has the step side sill, which then changes in thickness over the fuel tank. It's much thinner. The Phase 2 GP50 has the side sill. It's a constant narrow width on it for the entire length of the locomotive. Also, the front anticlimber shape changes between the two phases as well.
Now, talking about the anticlimber and the hood length, tell us how those are going to differentiate from the GP38-2.
Yeah, GP50's, the hood length is actually several inches longer than on a GP38-2, and our model reflects that. What EMD did to provide sufficient clearance to get around the end of the long hood, that's where they actually added a rear anticlimber to the locomotive, and so we've got that detail modeled as well.
So now that we've talked about the GP50 from an overall perspective, let's talk about road name and road number specific detail. Of course, that's what really makes us unique at Athearn. And let's start with the Chicago Northwestern GP50. Tell us about the features that a modeler can expect to find.
Yeah, the first road names that we're doing are basically as delivered, so they're going to be very similar to each other. The C&W has the C&W typical features that you would come to expect. Has the gong bell in the nose. Our sound version replicates that bell sound, which is different than the standard bell used on most locomotives. It also has the Western Cullen style beacon on the roof, 3-chime air horn, and then also the Sinclair antenna. It also includes the winterization hatch as well.
All right, so moving on from Chicago Northwestern, we get to Santa Fe. So what's unique about Santa Fe?
Yeah, Santa Fe, again, typical of the era, has the horn on the roof, cab roof. It has the prime stratolite style beacon, air conditioning, and also the antenna and antenna ground plane all on the cab roof.
Okay, and then the third road name we're announcing is, of course, Southern, and a couple of different variants. We actually do get into that road number specific detail, which makes us unique. Tell us what those details are.
Yeah, we do. We both offer two different versions. One with Locotrol, which has some additional conduit and antennas on the roof, which is different than the standard version. They're also sublettered with the proper road name initials, which are appropriate for each road number as well.
Now, being Southern too, we also added things like the walkway lights, the high hood, anything other unique Southern features.
Yeah. The walkway lights are really nice. Those are all brass cast parts. Highly detailed, again, the high short hood, and again, typical of what you would expect on a Southern locomotive.
Now, being Genesis, of course, these models will be available both with and without Soundtraxx Tsunami sound. And with that sound, you mentioned earlier, of course, the Chicago Northwestern having the gong bell. What other sound features can be expected? Again,
typical, you'll have a couple of horn selections that you'll be able to pick the horn that you think is most appropriate. You'll have the diesel prime mover sound, again, typical of any of our other sound systems.
Now, being a Genesis model, of course, what are the standard Genesis features that are incorporated in the Jeep50?
Well, what you're going to find is, again, that very high level of detail, very road-specific, road number-specific detail, all-wheel pickup, all-wheel drive. You're going to have a can motor. It's going to have brass flywheels. Again, be available with or without sound. The non-sound versions are sound and DCC ready. So, again, all the features that you would come to expect in any Genesis product.
All right. Well, Mike, thanks so much for telling us all about the new Athearn Genesis GP50. And as always, additional details can be found at athearn.com. If you'd like to place an order, please visit your local hobby retailer. And we'd like to give a special thanks to K10s for having us here today.